The unfortunate thing is, if it continues like this, like IPOB has said, it's going to unleash its armed wing, the Eastern Security
Network. How do you reconcile a certain Festus who is foreign-based, who is dishing out orders on behalf of IPOB?
Well, it happened before. Nnamdi Kanu was in the UK. At some point, he was in Israel, and he was doing the same thing. But I think at this point in our lives, we should be more sensible and sensitive to issues that will affect us, those of us who are here. Some guy sits somewhere outside the country and says, go on killing. And when you watch some of the videos that are coming up now, like one in which some people claimed that people who are going out, who are not observing the sit at home, will not allow them to achieve their aim of producing the next president of the country. They are indeed making a minus for the agitation for a Southeasterner as the president of the country.
Adequately, but you know, you elect what you want, and what you elect to do might come back to haunt you. So the Southeast geopolitical zone cannot hurt itself, especially at this stage. And you recall that a region that went through a 30-month war, civil war, avoidable civil war, should have been, should become circumspect. Take a second hard look at the issue.
Well, the Southeast conundrum is multifaceted. Remember, before the advent of this government, Eastern Nigeria was peaceful. You get my point? But when you see leadership, you said?
Relatively peaceful.
There was type of, but there was no all these kind of madness all over the place. I do go there and I know what I'm talking about.
Then we had the other one.
Masob.
No, Masob wasn't a threat to anybody. I know Wazuruki very well. It is IPOB, and IPOB grew wings under this government. You remember all the military, all these operations, all this. And at the time, we were warning that the way you are going, you will drive these guys underground, and by the time you do, it may be...
When you say the way we are going...
The government of Nigeria...
Okay.
You get my point?
At the time, the IPOB issue.
Nigeria didn't handle the Southeast situation very well. So that's on the part of the federal, government of Nigeria. Then the leadership in Igbo land, the elders, those who have a stake,
and opinion leaders,
those who have a stake in the Nigerian project, not miscreants, charlatans. I'm not talking about criminals, because they don't have a stake here.
They have nothing to lose.
But if you have a stake here, you won't sit down in a comfortable country and be calling people who are unable to eat. You see, take a stock. It's been over 1 year of sit at home. They have destroyed the economy of Igbo land. Take it from me, the Igbos are the most industrious, the most enterprising, set of people among all ethnic tribes in Nigeria. Why do you want to destroy them? What's the purpose? So now the elders will need to come in, and it's beyond politicians, because the politicians they have there cannot solve the problems. They are part and parcel of the problems. So look at when you look. We are talking about the one you talked about in Imo. Go back to Enugu. You will see that from October you will see series of attacks, and when these attacks happen, they normally burn down police stations, kill, police officers, men. Kill civilians, burn down this, burn down this. The other day, I was speaking with our guy in Anambra, and it was something else I wanted to ask. He said, the problem they're having now, that they just killed some soldiers in the governor's hometown, this and that, that they are even battling with how to handle the situation. So how did we get to a point that you kill security, uniformed men, anyhow.
Okay.
It is a bad omen.
Doctor, sometimes at this time like this, you tend to be cynical. If Kanu were released tomorrow, freed of all charges against him, do you see relative calm returning to the Southeast?
From what we have seen now, this is almost completely out of Kanu's hands
Grasp.
now. Because when you look at what has happened, Kanu has said, I didn't declare a seat at all. His lawyer, Iheme Ejiofor, said the same thing. Kanu did not declare it. The spokesman of IPOB, Iheme Powerful, said the same thing. So who are these guys? Who are these guys taking these decisions? So it means they don't belong to IPOB.
Doctor, let me
That's the
quickly
meaning.
relate with Iheme is reaching us from Owerri, not Iheme Powerful. Iheme, I greet you. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Yeah, let's go.
Good afternoon. I'm really not in a very good mood, honestly. I'm calling you from Buhari.
Okay then.
Listening from the ones I joined and the rest. It's quite a sad situation and a sad commentary. Honestly, the non-state actors, you call them, it's not just non-state actors, these are pure criminals. People are the excuse phase in what you call your government. If we are still under a government and have diplomatic relationship, the time of in Finland or whatever everybody is suspecting that is behind committee cannot be reached through the government of Nigeria, where they will extradite him. The offense is there.
All right. Iheme, quickly. Are you there, Iheme?
I think
Okay. I was going to ask him if they are truly, if in your estimation, they are truly unknown gunmen.
Well, once they are not yet
Unfaced.
there is not, you still have to call them unknown.
Okay.
But like Iheme said, when
They are criminals.
they are criminals, and unfortunately,
So they are known for that.
like Adekunle Yusuf also said, these people have destroyed the whole of the Southeast. I was in Owerri for the Nigerian Guild of Editors conference,
Okay.
and
That's 2 weeks ago.
the old town looks like a ghost city because hotels have dilapidated. People don't go in there again. Even as much as we have been told that all of these attacks, they occur in the hinterland. But who even wants to attempt to witness this? So these guys who have been described as pure criminals, they should be reined in. Because like I said, it's completely out of the control of Nnamdi Kanu now.
All right.
He started something that he can no longer control.
Okay then. Again, this is where Adekunle, some people are talking about a diplomatic victory for government. Let Kanu go, for instance, and let's see what is left.
As I've always maintained, the government of Nigeria has never been fair, has never been sincere in the handling of the situation of, Southeast. If you remember when the Kanu was brought into Nigeria, I said that at that time it will not solve any problem. You can solve the problem of Southeast through political solution, not through the court.
Yeah.
The position of the president on this matter, the court will decide, the court will only worsen the situation. I keep saying it, and I will never stop saying it. The best way out of this logjam is for all the parties to sit down, come up with amicable political solution, and at the end of the day, we will all have peace at the end of the day.
But let's listen to Ahmed in Abuja.
Okay.
Good afternoon, brother. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Let's go quickly.
Yeah, my name is Mohammed.
Okay then.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Very
Go
well.
on.
Yeah, Yeah, a lot of these government or non-government attack police station, all these problems in the southeast. We should just tell ourselves the truth about it. In those southeast, we have elders. If those elders are in support of what is happening in that southeast, we should tell people, please. We have governors in those states. So what are those governors doing? Sit at home. Who imposed the sit at home? Is it the governors or who are those people imposed the sit at home for Christ's sake? If we have a governor in a particular state, who are those people imposed those sit at home? To our essence, these policemen that are being killed here and there, they are people's children.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
So what are we talking about? Let's tell us.
All right, yeah, Mohammed, but the truth is the Southeast geopolitical zone has 5 governors and they have 5 state governments. Well, the debate must continue.
Sure.
Are we doing the right thing? I think we have to go back. Don't look at the window, look in the mirror. Perhaps that sends a message. Okay, to our next story. You know, according to the late English dramatist, the name is James Shelley. Let me quote him. There is no armor against fate. Death lays its icy hands on kings. They stoop to conquer. End of quote. We have reported one horrible story or war, another after another. After all, we can't tire doing so because we are journalists. And this is a tough call for religious groups in our country, especially at the moment. The catalog of one woeful story after another is dementing. The chairman of the Evangelical Church of West Africa, ECWA, Reverend Timothy Megida, said about 807 members of his assembly were felled by bandits during the communal crisis in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State in the last 6 years. 70 other members, he added, were still languishing in the den of the bandits. Now, this must be Armageddon, or what do you say?
You know, Kajuru area of Kaduna State has been the hotbed of criminalities, banditry, and unfortunately, just as we can carpet, you know, the politicians in the southeast, the mine, you know, Kaduna has never done enough. Because when a problem keeps, you know, rearing its ugly head, people dying, all sort of things, and whatever measures you put in place, as long as there is.
Kuli, sorry, it begs the question of why Kaduna? Kaduna is supposed to be the administrative head of the old northern region. Why yes. Kaduna?
You need to understand the nature of Kaduna. Kaduna is more or less one of the states you can call a mini Nigeria. You get my point? In the north, you have the Muslims, the majority. In the south, you have all kinds of human beings, even Southerners who have adopted, who are born there, who have adopted the place as their home.
So you can say Kaduna is akin to Lagos, which is mini Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay.
So when the problem started at the time, if you remember some of the controversies, many people, you know, also carpeted Governor El-Rufai for certain decisions and all that. You can remember so many. So we don't need to go into the details. But now, we didn't put the figures together. I was shocked when I saw this figure. Over 800 people. Those were the ones they can account for officially. Their own members. We are not talking about ordinary folks.
It could be a conservative figure.
Believe me, we are not talking about ordinary folks, poor people, the masses that died. I remember Professor with this former Human Rights Commission chairman, Chidi.
Okay, I know the guy.
You know,
NHRC, yeah.
he was more than involved.
Odinkalu.
God bless him. You know, he was more than involved. In fact, at some point, many people were even calling him names that is becoming too emotional and possibly biased and all that. A lot took place in that place in terms of wanton killing, senseless killings every time. And up to now, as the problem will be resolved,
Persists.
the problems are still there. And that's one of the things that bleed my heart, that why are we like this? Problems are always part of human beings. But while in our own case, we are not sincere enough, we have never been sincere enough to solve problems.
Yeah. Doctor, you know, at a stage in this bad season, there was this debate about naming a bandit a terrorist. But today we have agreed that a bandit is a terrorist because a bandit spreads terror, if nothing else. So where is the problem?
Well, the problem is the fact that we have refused to address the issues the people are bringing to the table. That's where the problem is. Like in the case of the Southeast, as I said, if people bring up issues and say, see, in this our first marriage, as we have all agreed it is, even within states.
Did you ask me?
Well,
go on.
that's what it is. Even within states, even in the Southwest,
but
you have communities.
You see, a little argument here,
Yes.
if you like logic. After 62 years of a so-called forced marriage,
Yes.
I think, Adekunle, you would look at yourself, 62 years with this same woman, so you give up.
There was something somebody said.
We are not the same.
We are not the same. There was some,
I decide not
a
to.
presidential
Just a
candidate. A presidential candidate said something about 2 or 3 weeks ago. He said, even in my own house with my wife, we quarrel every day, or we disagree every day. But the thing that we know is, we are in this union
Together.
So when we disagree, we come back to talk about the issues. There is no way disagreements will not come.
Yeah.
But what we are saying is, see, there is no point using force to quell demands. This is what I want, and I believe it is my right, based on the constitution that we run. But you have said no to me, then something must give way. In the case of Kaduna, it's just like we have said in that of it's pure criminality.
Yeah.
That is what is happening. Some people took advantage of the initial disagreement among the people. It is our turn to produce this councillor. We are being oppressed as minority in this area. We should also be able to have this and have that.
The religious aspect as well.
The religion kicked in too. It's not fair. We are Christians, you are Muslims, and you are... And those were the things that came up initially. And then the armed men set in. That's where the challenge is now. And that's why each time we look at this topic, I like to give kudos to the military. Because they are doing a lot in terms of trying to keep that place sane. But for the military, I'm sure that place would have been wiped out completely. Completely.
Yeah, Adekunle, I don't want to run away with the impression that the problem of banditry in our country is unsolvable. Because, don't ask me how, we created it.
It is even easy to solve.
Oh, really?
With the right leadership. Visionary leadership. Sincere leadership. Committed leadership. Not hypocrites. Patriotic leadership. There is no problem that you cannot solve. What's the problem, with Nigeria? All the problems in Nigeria with right leadership in 20 years, the whole world will be marveled. at the country
and we
or
shouldn't
Nigeria.
only be looking at the president, because when you talk of leadership, people are always talking of the president.
Yes, but I mention it
things in
because
the States.
somebody will set.
No, I'm
Somebody will
only
set the
saying,
template.
I'm only trying to buttress your point.
Yes.
Leadership at all levels.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Leadership at
but
all
we need,
levels.
somebody to set the pace, set the templates, show the way. Example.
I've forgotten the man who said, a great man who said in the past, an army of lions led by a sheep will do nothing compared to an army of sheep led by a lion.
God bless you. That is just it.
Okay.
You see, when the problem of banditry started, we were always calling,
Like small.
we were
clansmen.
always calling them, criminals, this and that. But those in government were not comfortable. They were saying, no, they were not this, they were not that. It was only the governor of Kano State who rose up to leadership challenge in all the part of the north. Remember, the thing started from there. What is the story today? Kano is peaceful. Kano is great. Kano is doing well. That's leadership. How many places do you have that?
Yeah, yes, but you cannot totally.
They started with
hold on, but
cattle
you cannot-
rustling. They started with cattle rustling.
Yeah.
It was in Kano. You remember everything of the genesis. Then before they started spreading, but the governor of Kano State, I can say it anywhere, any day, he rose up to the challenge and did beautifully well.
Adekunle, this is not to say that the Kano governor of Kaduna State is not proving his mettle. He's human.
He's a human, but when somebody deserves commendation,
all
I
right.
will commend it.
Kule, let's. Wale is here with us in Lagos. Wale, good afternoon to you. Welcome. We've lost the connection to him. So, Dotun, still Kaduna. So we say the figures. Well, I just got this: 807 people kidnapped, not killed.
In 1 year.
In 1 year.
That was last year only.
So
And 70 of them still with the kidnappers.
with bandits. Okay. He is saying that it can be solved.
Yes, it can be. You like what the military is doing now. You use the kinetic and the non-kinetic approach. It's not every time that you deploy your arsenal militarily. You can look at how did these issues begin?
I'm sorry to correct you.
Yeah.
He didn't say 807 people were kidnapped. They were killed.
Yeah, but because that's what I saw in the report.
Because, so I need to correct it. Were killed. He said we
107
lost
people.
807.
Yeah, but that 70
that they
were
were
still
killed.
70 were still with the
The figure he mentioned,
Yeah.
killed.
Killed.
So let's set that record straight.
All right.
So we can achieve peace both ways. It's not all the time that you go on to fight. It's not. Sometimes you have to sit down and look at what the issues are. Like he said, at some point, Kano, Bauchi, Plateau, along that axis, there were no-go areas. Now things have shifted. Why don't we go to Kano and ask the man in Kano?
What?
What's the
What we
secret?
need? Why don't we go to the man who is in Borno now, who has spent 4 years, and ask him what happened?
What's the secret?
Was this how were you able to do it?
No.
The funding.
Kule, if he reveals it, it's no longer a secret.
No. What we're saying is,
this-
to his colleagues, they should be comparing notes. Leadership is about comparing notes. You can't know it all, and states differ, but along that axis, it has been the same
But
problem.
I also want to add that as a leader, you surround yourself with people who are in the same thinking, the same way you are thinking.
Yes.
Because they say the team is as good or as bad as the captain.
Yes, I agree with you. As good as the captain, that's why we always say at the end of the day, everything, whether it's the success or it's the failure, comes back to the leader. Yes. The glory of it will come to him if he achieves it. We've had governors who will go to cabinet meetings and tell those who are bringing ideas to the table
Memos.
that the buck stops on my table. I take a decision alone. Because he wants his own ideas to supersede. And that's a big issue.
Taking decisions, you know,
That's a big issue.
Reminds me of the statement credited to former American president's wife, Michelle Obama. She said, take a decision. Don't care what people say. Because as Winston Churchill said, if you were going to Kano and you stopped on the way to throw a stone at every dog that barks at you, you won't get there in 1 year.
Yeah, at all.
Yes, but it's not like not listening to advice.
Yeah.
Because that's why you brought those people on board in the first instance.
Yeah.
To be able to advise you.
No, a tree cannot make a forest.
It cannot.
But they say it can make a difference in the forest.
Of course it can.
Yes, it will.
But the leader himself, we need to be sincere, committed, really interested in solving problems, not those that we just, you know.
Okay, our job here is not to pass moral judgment, but we cannot but wish the governor of Kaduna State Godspeed in dealing with the wahala. And to the Ekwa man, it's rather unfortunate that this is a crazy season for religious communities and across board. We wish you well. Okay, yes. To our next story. You know, in a political season, it will be out of character or unwise not to play politics. Adamawa State Governor Ahmadu Fintiri smells a rat regarding the cash withdrawal limit policy. You recall that the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, had limited the daily cash withdrawal for individuals to 20,000 naira and 100,000 naira for a week. And of course, 500,000 naira per week for corporate bodies. The decision by the Apex Bank keeps provoking debates in the country. Governor Fintiri was on the campaign trail on Friday. He dropped the bomb. The governor thinks Godwin Emefiele, that's the central bank governor, is on a vengeance mission because he lost a presidential bid. Does it add up?
Well, yeah, politically.
Okay.
Politically, it adds up.
Oh, really?
Politically. But
so he's talking politics?
Yes, politically it adds up. Because a day after I spoke, don't forget, Fintiri is a member of the People's Democratic Party. And
so is the opposition speaking?
That's the opposition. A day after I spoke, a governor elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress and the governor of the president's home state,
Katsina,
Aminu Masari, said no.
And former federal speaker.
Yes, and former speaker. Said no, that governors, majority of them, believe that it's a step in the right direction. So we have two positions. But in reality, when we look at it, if the kind of politics that we play in this country is what we want to play in 2023, then politically, it is witch hunting. Because we know these people move money massively.
Hard cash.
Cash, massively.
Raw cash.
They need, we've seen so many videos of people returning from campaigns now, being given money inside buses, all around, they're collecting. It's an aberration that has become
Doctor, I hear that since this announcement,
yes,
so over ₦1 trillion has been returned to the National Treasury.
Yes, because like the CBN governor said, 85% of the currency that should be in circulation is outside the banking system. It's we saw it, and we are still seeing it. People bringing out money, bad enough that even in filling stations that used to take such currencies, they are not taking them, such notes. Meaning that they have been taking money and piling up somewhere for the election. I think.
See, it is only in Nigeria. What if we really love our country? I'm not speaking as a politician, but if we really love our country, maybe we should stop listening to our politicians. Some of them. I will explain to you. No, I will explain to you.
Man is a political animal.
I know. I will explain to you. It is only in Nigeria you see big men. They will do their own strong rooms. They will do special stores where they keep billions of
course,
naira.
the story of a former GMD of the NNPC is fresh in my mind.
There are many of them. Knowing that their own entire generation cannot finish. Some have kept. You see, lately when this naira redesign thing came up, do you know people were bringing money to the banks? I have seen 5 different cases. Bankers, those who work in the bank, they will say some people will just bring like 10 Ghana must go bags of money.
Hard cash.
Raw cash to the bank. Oh, I'm coming. This is just the first tranche. I'm still coming. So they will enter the strong room, drop them there, and run away and will never return.
Oh, really?
I've seen 5 different people. I won't name the banks. The different banks.
I hope you don't report anybody.
Of course. I said they will. So what this means is, they said, do you know that Savannah Bank, Oceanic Bank, all those banks
that went down under.
People still come to the banks with the wraps.
The wraps.
They will stamp it, and you will know which
stamps.
Savannah Bank, Oceanic Bank, all those banks that are dead many years ago. So, if we really want to help our country, what the CBN has come up with, is the way to go. Because I will land. Let me land.
They are killed.
That's
the point I want to make.
The killed banks are
killed banks, better.
See, the moment we want a good country, a better country for ourselves, number one, it is not good for the economy when 85% of currency, notes, are not within the control of the Apex Bank.
Yeah.
So it means the government of Nigeria spent a lot to print money for those that, because the money is not useful. The purpose of money is it should be circulating. It should be, so if you want to money
to stimulate the economy.
If you want to monitor inflation, if you want to control inflation, if you want to do so many things, it becomes easy if the money is in circulation. If it is kept somewhere, it will not make anything work.
All right. So
now when you are now bringing it into politics, believe me, you see our politicians, they go away in convoy, see how many trucks of money that accompany them.
What simple logic, especially for the man on the street, is would the 20,000 naira announced by the central bank for the individual as the bulk you can withdraw in it, can it sustain the economy?
Please, maybe you didn't get right. What they are talking about is cash. If you want to go the way of other, better economies, you go cashless. You can do unlimited, transactions, But cash, raw cash.
Yeah.
The first day, I will say, let me tell you one experience. The first day, I brought out $100 in the US.
In the shopping. Hold on.
See. Come and see the commotion.
We are not quarreling now. Cashless was instituted in 2012. So 10 years on, we are still playing catch up.
Because the elite don't really want cashless. If you do cashless, you can trace everything they have done.
I think it's not so much about the elites now that Citizen Jones is talking about.
Okay.
It's about the practicability of what CBN has brought to people like you and I who want to go to Oshodi to go and buy pepper, who want to, you know, this, it's easy in other countries to do.
Because in Kenya, I am told on good authority that 90% of their transactions there are cashless. Rwanda, the same thing.
How many times have you been to the filling station and you finish buying fuel and your card does not work? How many times have you been to a store and you are told, please, go across the streets? And in these days where one Bonvita costs you 2,000.
Don't advertise, yeah.
No, okay, I'm sorry. Where one beverage costs you that much and your 3 children or 4 are going to school and you need to shop for them at once and you go there and this thing doesn't work. That is where the fears of the average Nigerians are. Because no matter what you do, as we see it, people are at that top. They are still going to find a way around it. Some have 10, 20 companies. It's a matter of getting ATM cards for all of them.
But again,
500,000. So it is we that Citizen Jones should be talking about.
Yeah. So, Adekule, hold on. Let's interrogate the comment of the Adamawa governor. Okay. Go there.
What
he says, Governor Emefiele wants to punish us.
I think that we have been talking about already. The politicians move around with big cash, volume of cash.
Good. So
millions, if not billions.
If the CBN
so when you take that power,
hold on. If the CBN directive is targeting them, so what?
That is why I said the elite, we need to stop listening to them all the time because their interest all the time, not the national interest. In our own interest, what that policy will not affect the ordinary folks. Those that will affect the most are those big men that move around with limitless volume of cash. See, you can do...
Including those 5 you don't want to name.
Those 5?
Go ahead.
Those 5? No, tell me those 5 because I don't...
No, you said you know about five big people who bring money.
No, I said bank workers who told me the experience they are having in their banks.
Yeah.
I'm not saying those who brought money.
Okay.
I said I've seen 5 bank, workers in different banks who have told me that even in their own bank, people
which is saying that the policy is yielding results.
It's yielding results, but majority of them are afraid to go because the moment you go, the EFCC is pursuing you. What they give you by the CBN regulation is 5 million.
Yeah.
So if you bring in 5 million as an individual today, and tomorrow you also bring 5 million, and tomorrow
you raise
expect expect EFCC to come and ask you questions. Yeah. Of course, if you have no skeleton in your cupboard, I don't think the EFCC can do anything. If it is legitimate, so you make your money legitimately. See, we can solve many of the problems of Nigeria if we go cashless.
Yeah.
All these things about kidnapping, all these things about insurgency, they are fueled by raw cash.
Dr. Adekule has not heard that kidnappers want their money in cash and they want the new notes.
And even dollar. But I think, like he said, we should give it to the CBN government.
Yeah, but if the central bank of any country is to regulate the national currency.
Yes.
Because track where the money is going. You can control inflation and stuff like that.
And so, yes.
So nobody, including the politician, should lose sleep
over this. Because for me, if you look at it, this man was inherited from a government led by the People's Democratic Party, by a government of the All Progressives Congress. And in my own opinion, the president to have kept him, even after the so-called failed presidential bid, means there must be something that is seizing the man.
Yeah.
And for him to even have opposed some of his ministers over the designing of currencies means also that there is implicit confidence.
And you will see the way the president has defended this policy.
Yeah.
if this policy, I keep telling people, is implemented to the letter, you won't believe the impact, the positive impact it will have on so many sectors of our, national life, including politics.
Politics especially.
Because I've been in several briefings on this matter where they do everything. Now, with what they are doing, you will have less of 500 naira. It won't be readily available again. You will even struggle to have 1,000 naira. And there will be no ATM point or POS that will be dispensing 500 of 1,000 naira. It will be 200 naira, 100 naira, 50 naira. So some of you who love to go in trucks, you will have it. You will have a problem if you want to go with billions.
As a suggestion,
Yeah.
the CBN will also have to, and the banks, do better with this agency stuff that they do now, the POS.
Yeah.
They have to do better with it.
But
because
don't you see wahala in that axis? So many Nigerians, including students, depend on the POS to keep body and soul together.
Yeah, so what we have to do now is, for you to buy anything, you must first ensure that the cash is taken out. Because now, before we will buy, then you bring out your ATM card. What it now means is going to be the reverse. So that they don't punch your money in. For instance, a supermarket where you have gone to buy something, worth maybe 50,000 naira, 100,000, and then they've punched in everything, and then your card doesn't work, and you can't go.
But don't forget that many of these supermarkets do also take transfers.
But that's an aberration.
It happens to me. I do.
No, I'm not saying you don't do
it. What they will do
is that against the law?
No, that's not against the law. That's what even the government wants. What they normally do is you will have to wait for them to confirm that the money has come in.
Exactly. And
before they issue receipt and you go.
That's for you who is not in a hurry. Because sometimes, like we have seen, this system fails.
The system,
There are days somebody sends money 2 days ago. I'm just receiving the alert today.
That must
and then, no. We're just saying it.
I do transfers.
You try to sign into your app.
No, I learn from him. You do transfers.
I do transfers a lot, and I don't get disappointed.
100%.
In fact,
don't go to court.
At least 99.9%.
Yeah, but
is that area we have to work on?
We need to improve because nothing is perfect yet, and I know that. I shared
saying 10 years after going cashless, by this time we should have become attuned to it.
Before this time, we should have upped the game. Where we started that time, we left it. We didn't. So now, this is the time for us to,
things must change.
Things must change. Educate the people. The culture of carrying cash is not the right thing. Let's move on.
You go to the man who is selling meat in the market, and he says, see, when I'm going to the abattoir, they won't take transfer from me because the Abusa man who is bringing the cow from the north wants his money in cash. So all of those will now begin to change. And the way it can change is for people to begin to have confidence in the banking system. Because sometimes what people complain about, I have friends who are educated at our level, they don't have ATM cards. Because sometimes you are just sitting in your room.
They don't believe.
No, sometimes you are just sitting in your room and your money is being withdrawn from somewhere. Because the system has been compromised. It has happened to me. It has happened to my wife. It has happened to our colleagues.
Yes, it's true.
So these are the things we need
to work on.
And then that system also, that's the banking system, must be in a position to attend to such questions and queries, so that if your money goes missing today, by tomorrow you're having it back. Not 3 months, not 4 months.
Then the Naira aspect of it, the central government and the central bank, we also need to educate the people. There is humongous benefit in that aspect.
All right, we must move on. But then I think the whole idea is to protect the national currency.
Yes, that's it.
For instance, I'm amazed that till tomorrow we are not spending coins in this country. I don't know if they are still legal tender. I'm not sure.
They are.
They should be. It's inflation
killed them.
Okay. But the debate will continue whether this policy will make us say thank you to President Muhammadu Buhari. All right, time will tell. Let's go to our next story. You know, as a people and polity, if we fail to set boundaries and hold people accountable for their actions and inactions, we become vulnerable and open to chaos. That the NNPCL and the CBN fail to hold people answerable for messing with our only source of revenue is a crying shame. Again, the House of Reps has indicted the NNPC Limited, the CBN, and the NDDC, amongst others, for the rot in our system. Chairman, House of Reps Committee on Public Accounts, his name is Honorable Oluwole Oke, has blown the whistle. Would the guilty ones be made to answer for their crimes, Adekunle? Do you see that happening?
I don't know who is guilty anyway. So
No. I'm saying the House of Reps Committee has indicted, I don't know whether you hear my grammar, the NNPCL, the CBN, the NDDC.
You see,
those institutions are headed by Nigerians.
you see, they're all in government, and we know their antics.
Oh, you know their antics.
Of course, we report them. So
Okay.
I'm not going to talk too much. We know their antics.
Okay.
You get my point? Sometimes when they release information, we need to scrutinize and interrogate. You see, NMPC, CBN,
NDDC.
I think in this case, it's only those two dimensions.
No. Plus the NDDC.
There
By law, every year.
There are over 50 of them.
By law, if they are over 50, it's also an indictment on the two arms of the National Assembly that have
Oversight.
powers
That's it.
all agencies, ministry, everybody, especially anybody that deals with public funds. You get my point? But many times, what we find out, because the law says they must audit their accounts, even the universities, their accounts are audited every year. But the problem we have in Nigeria, which is part of the problems of our law, the law didn't say they must make it public unless you are quoted. If you are not public, if you are not publicly quoted.
But are you not surprised that the NNPC had not audited its accounts over years?
This is where I'm going. Let me land.
Go there in time.
Many times, they have these accounts audited, but they audit like it is a secret.
The law says so. The law permits them to do that.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
The law didn't compare them unless they are
You are saying
publicly
something.
quoted.
Okay.
So they hang on to that. Many of them don't release. And if you try FOI, they will not let you sit. So whether this is what is happening to the House of Reps, I don't know. But it is impossible, and I'm saying it again, that they won't audit their account. No. They know the implications of the law.
Dr. You know, at a stage, we had crippling, dementing issues or things like the NNPC has over 360 accounts.
Yeah, well,
You remember that?
yes. When this government came, it started the Treasury Gold account, and which a lot of people have commended.
TSA.
TSA. What the House of Reps is demanding, and which is mandatory, is that all these ministries, departments, and agencies must submit their audited accounts to the Auditor General of the Federation on a yearly basis, by law. By law. And that is why you see, based on the affliction of time, that we keep hearing that rodents ants have eaten 17 billion naira vouchers.
Or something like that.
Or a snake came somewhere where we kept money that should be in the account and took 11 billion away.
Even the film industry here, Nollywood would not produce such a film.
It's sickening. It's sickening. And that is why, see, Adekunle made a very valid point. The National Assembly should give us enough confidence in that system for people to be held accountable.
Yeah.
The ones they have done in the past, what happened?
What are the results?
After going into the back room, when these people show up, we hear nothing again. And then we come back the following year, and we are there even yet to submit the audited report for that same year.
Do you remember the issue of off your mic?
Yes.
Was it in July 2020?
It's still till now.
It's still part of it.
On hot demand.
Yeah.
You must off your mic when you get to certain stages.
Oh, really?
You must. Because now, they have invited all of these people. They have threatened to issue bench warrants for the CBN governor and some other people. When these people come and they offer you this explanation, we don't even get to hear the explanation they have offered you that made you to leave them off the hook.
Now,
Adekunle,
hold on.
Yes,
so, Dr., now I can say authoritatively,
yes, sir.
Corruption happens because there's impunity.
Yes.
Adekunle, impunity happens because there are enhancers. These enhancers are the untouchables. The untouchables roam wild. They rule the land because they are untouchables.
Of course.
Otherwise, some people are bigger than the country.
Even look at our university system where you think that there should be some level of decorum. Look at the number of VCs indicted for not submitting
the
audited report. Why should that be? And you keep coming to government, bring more money, bring more money, bring more money. End of the year comes. Even the returns you are supposed to make into the account, the ones that you did not spend, doesn't come. Everything.
Let me chip in one thing. All the federal agencies, ministries, departments, all from the Auditor General's office, from the Accountant General's office, from the National and Wages Salaries Commission, all of them, they go over auditing all these parastatals. Every year. It is part of their work. Yes, it is part of their work. There is no university that is not audited. I'm talking, but the law says there should be external auditing as well. But within government, they audit them. And when they audit them, what happens? You realize that Nigeria, we are just a type of people that I don't know how to describe us. I will tell you one experience. There was a university. People came.
The university don't go.
Federal government.
They again.
A federal government. Okay, there is a federal university. And I will tell you, they came. And if you know people in any university, ask them that when auditors come, the first report, I don't know the name they call it now, the first report is what reflects the situation on the ground. Then, after the meeting and everything, the final report is what is recognized by law, which is always totally different from it.
What is on ground?
That is to say, a lot has exchanged hands. In this university that I was talking about, they will tell you this is it. There is no system that is perfect anywhere. From the federal to state to local government to anywhere, there is no perfect. So now you see this, you see this, you see this. They will not name price. In this instance, they will tell you what they want. You don't do it, then the original audit report
will come out.
and you know the consequences.
Dotu, I cannot forget in a hurry that in the Obasanjo years, if you remember, a certain lady, you know, graceful lady, Madam Adenika Grange, lost her job because of some kind...
I think in education
health.
Ministry.
She was the Minister of Health under Obasanjo.
Health.
Remember, after Menakaya left, they brought 10 million naira. Madam, this is your share. No, take it away. So, Doctor, we've been at this mess for a long, long time. But my trouble is, we know that there are bad boys and bad girls in the system, but we won't punish them.
And that is why we always hear a statement like this. Without a reformation of the civil service, we can never have a perfect political system.
And
because they are the ones.
Adekule, Stephen Oronsai, former head of service of this country under the Jonathan government, recommended the rationalization of parastatals and so on to save these overlapping functions.
Are you not creating more?
I say in some ministries that don't have any accounting function, they are just ministries, maybe like health, like office of service.
Yeah.
You have in one small office 4 accountants, 6 sometimes. What are they doing? And then the question is, it is not that they don't know what is right.
Yeah.
It is a question of what do we stand to benefit if we do what is right.
Dr. made a valid point that we need to talk about.
That's a big question.
That the National Assembly members, we need to convince us to believe in what they are doing.
And their respect and confidence.
That is the most important arm of government.
Yeah.
And many Nigerians don't know.
Yeah.
If the National Assembly members today, if they stand up and say, no, they want to sanitize Nigeria, in 10 years, you will see a total revamp of everything.
You don't need 10 years. You need even 1 year.
But when they are doing their oversight functions, go and investigate what happens.
Remember the altercation between a senator from Kogi and the CG of the customs.
Remember another one, was this man, this beautiful woman, what's that agency? She spent, she has left abroad now.
Yeah.
You know, they frustrated her to a point that they said, no, where do I get it? And opened up. What happened?
All right.
They made sure our commission didn't get appropriation.
Don't say
I
we should
remember
off the
her tiff, you know, with...
No, you're asking us to off the mic.
No,
we are not going to off the mic.
No, okay. Yeah, but we are guided by time on the program. So it's time to make some money. We'll go on a commercial break. Please don't go away. This is still Journalist Hangout on a Sunday. We'll be back shortly.
In the month of December, on the 1st, it is World AIDS Day. On the 3rd, attention shifts to persons living with disabilities. And December 9th is dedicated to International Anti-Corruption Day. 10th is Human Rights Day, while the 11th is the 2nd anniversary of the abduction of over 300 students in Kankara, Katsina State. On the 12th of December, the World Health Organization dedicates the day as Universal Health Coverage Day. On the 17th of December, the abducted Kankara boys were freed 6 days after. 18th of December is set aside as International Migrants Day. It is the last month of the year. Brace yourself for an interesting December. Stay with TVC News.
Okay, I hear we must breach this subject for another 3-4 minutes, 4-5 minutes. But let's take it from the top. The CBN, the House of Reps Committee on Public Accounts has indicted indicted, make I spell them, the CBN, the NNPCL, that's the NNPC Limited, the NDDC, and others, NIMASA, and many others.
Virtually all the
Good. So what next? What next? Where do we go from here?
We should have these people give accounts. If we continue the way it is, like we say, you cannot keep doing something the same way and expect a different result. It's not possible. And we are still going to keep saying it. The way our money leaks, the wastage in the system, in running government, is huge. If we can block those areas of leakages, we can get somewhere. Because I want to believe that more than 50% of the money that we budget does not go into what
we are not captured. Are not captured.
But they go elsewhere. So if we can block those elsewhere that they are going, we'll get better.
Yeah, because Adekule, you can't tell me that at the NNPC, somebody, some people somewhere will lay pipes that that emits crude oil to nowhere. I mean pipes that we sew, and then somebody will come back and tell me. And crude, this is the only source of revenue. At a time like this, when Russia has invaded Ukraine, I expect Nigeria, as a member of the 13-member OPEC countries, to make money, but we are not making a cover.
We are the only country in the whole world that is not benefiting from our
all right, Dekule, Olawale is reaching us from Ikorodu.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Call us back, Olawale.
Please
call us back.
We'd love to hear you. You see, we are the only country, because of bad governance, bad leadership, visionless, governance.
But
our refineries, our refineries are not working. So
by choice.
But it's by choice. It's by choice. There's no doubt about that. Deliberately, because we love stealing a lot in Nigeria. What they call subsidy.
You could have been there.
But I'm not there.
Okay.
It's those that are there that we are talking about.
That's why you don't
very
steal.
powerful, the elite.
But maybe, are you saying if he's there?
I have not said so.
What they call subsidy in Nigeria is a grand stealing, contraption by the elite, and
agreed by everybody.
I didn't say everybody, but by those who are privileged to have a share. It's not by everybody, and that would be unfair. But by the very many among them, and it's a multi-trillion, dollar, scam that Nigeria is, So now you see, you're talking about NNPC. The same NNPC has indicted, even religious leaders, mosques, churches, this, that, in oil theft this year. The same NNPC, you have the military indicting the NNPC, you have the NNPC indicting the security agency, you have all this. So they are all involved.
And so the other day, when the DSS waded into the fuel shortage matter, you are thinking of the, what's the agency in America called? FBI. To wade into the matter. Should it have gotten to that stage?
That's the absurdity of the whole thing.
Did we elect to be this way in this country? Is it by choice?
I think the moment we lost the civil service, that's the moment our country started going down. Because
the civility in the service has gone.
It's gone. A lot of these things, if we were the way we were before, where contentment is the watchword in the civil service, where you know that you should live based on what you earn.
Yeah.
We won't be where we are.
And at the point we were like that.
Yes,
that's why I tend to side with
That's
late
the thing.
Professor Chinua Achebe Adekunle, there was a country.
There was a country.
There was, yes.
There was a country.
Because if we had remained on that narrow path, I'm even sure that the economy would have been better. Because we were told that at some point in this country, the naira was stronger than the dollar.
Dr. A call is coming from Accra. Lukman, I dare say he's a Nigerian. Lukman, I greet you. Welcome to Nigeria.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Jones and Mr. Kule and the other uncle. Yeah, I want to contribute to the program.
Go on.
The entire Nigerians should always hold their representatives accountable. The National Assembly, they are the biggest problem of Nigeria. Their oversighting is so poor, and if we could be able to look at the oversight, if they could be able to do that very well, we won't be facing all these problems we are facing today. Most of the things they do when they are investigating a case, by the time they get to the level of pulling it out, they will say, okay, we want to go for a break, and they go and negotiate at the banter. We have to stay away from this. And the subsidy must be removed.
Okay.
If we continue putting subsidy, we are going to suffer. In Ghana here, we buy fuel for 900 naira. So let's take away the subsidy so that we can have enough resources, we can have enough dollar, and we'll be able to,
officially,
naira will be able to have value.
Yeah, Lukman, thank you. Officially, government says subsidy will go by June next year. So we wait for that. Adekunle, let's take this home. So we are saying we know the problem. Are we ready to fix it?
No, we are not.
Okay.
We are not. And if you look at every time we bring up any policy or initiative that can help, just as the CBN thing, I've been extremely critical of the performance of the CBN under Buhari, because they've never helped this economy. But the one they just brought out, every Nigerian who loves this country should embrace
side with him
and decide that we, for the first time, we don't allow the elite their selfish interests.
All right, we must bury this subject here, but the debate must continue. Mine is, gentlemen, corruption happens because there is impunity. Impunity happens because there are enhancers, and the enhancers are the untouchables. Are we ready to do away with the untouchables? Let's go to our next story. You know, the tragedy of life is often not in our failure, but rather in our complacency. In politics, as in soccer, if you goof or make a silly mistake, you are punished. President Muhammadu Buhari, as father figure, has urged members of the APC, his children in a manner of speaking, to close ranks ahead of the 2023 general election. The president hosted the APC governorship candidate in Katsina State, Diko Rada and company at his Daura residence on Saturday. Now, true, politics is war without bloodshed. A word, they say, should be enough for the political proud boy. Dr.
What the president has said, he couldn't have put it better. Because what happened in 2015 should be a huge lesson to the APC.
Can you remind us?
Good. In 2015, the PDP was divided.
Which should have been a plus for the APC.
Which became a plus for the APC in 2015. And if the same should happen to the APC now, it's going to be a plus for the PDP that is even already in crisis. So what the APC needs to do, like the president said, is to consolidate and explore and exploit the division in the PDP as it is. Because you cannot, and that's where politicians always, where they miss it. You cannot all be in power at the same time. Some people must win and some must lose. And we've always known, in our own part of the world, winners of primaries are not most of the time the best in terms of speeches, in terms of programs, but in terms of how they're able to reach out to the delegates. Reaching out, I don't want to define.
Doctor, sorry, let me drop this so I don't forget.
All right.
In the Second Republic, soapbox oratory was something to look forward to.
Yes.
You wanted to hear what K.O. Mbadi would say, what Zik would say next, what Bola Ige would say, what Chief Awolowo, and so on and so on.
But all that is also there. Tatari Ali is there. I mean, was there then?
Oh, yeah.
We can mention a lot of them. But like I said...
Nap, what's his name now? The late Dr. Tunji Braithwaite.
They were all there.
Oh, yeah.
So, but now we've moved from politics of that era to another one. But whether it is the politics of that era or not, there is something that counts. The votes. You go to the primaries, and whether you feel you are the best or not, once you lose, the honorable thing to do is to queue behind the candidates. And that's the honorable thing to do.
And I'm sorry, what Dotun is preaching can never happen unless we start doing the right thing. There should be internal democracy.
Yeah.
In every party, the level is always not.
We all agreed some minutes back that there was a country.
There was a country.
But do you remember in the same Second Republic, I didn't know any other thing but Akinloye, chairman of the NPN.
Yes.
Who was the chairman of the other?
No, in some cases, the presidential candidates were also the chairman.
Yeah.
But in those climes, you had even the president, the sitting president, bowing to the chairman of the party because there was a structure.
At the state level too.
And at the state level, the same thing. But now, the political office holders are the leaders of the party. You even hear it. In some states where they are not governors, you find out that the most senior political office holder is the leader of the party.
But the difference between then and now, we need to highlight.
Yeah.
That time, the people were the owners of the party.
Okay.
You will have a card, like a job card, if you know what the contributions.
Yeah.
That your
each
name
time you
is there,
paid everything.
and every meeting you come, your own not donation, your own contribution. If you are lacking, it is there. If
you can see it because it's always marked.
So you
get me?
Joint owners
so
of the party.
Nobody was the owner of the party because we are equal stakers. Today, the big pockets are the owners of the party.
Plutocracy.
If you have money, monetocracy we call it. If you have money, you join any political party. Don't mention anyone today. You will hijack virtually all the structures, buy your way out, and buy your way through, and before you know it, you will emerge as the flag bearer, maybe for Senate, for House of Reps, for governorship, for anything that you desire. You get my point?
Yeah.
So, in any political party today, ask them where, beyond those membership card, where is your contribution? You go to political meeting today, you go to eat, drink, and when you are going home,
you want money.
You still want stipend. So you can see that is.
But the amazing thing is that when you go back and you look at our current political actors, you will find out that most of them were part of that.
Of that system.
Of that system. That works.
So what is happening now? What's happening now is willful, it's deliberate.
Yes, it's to migrate us.
This one is deliberate, as you say.
It's deliberate.
Because it helps the elite to do whatever they want to do. So,
but
It explains why the courts are always the one choosing candidates or choosing winners.
Do you blame them? Do you blame
them? Once you go to judiciary, it means you have elected to subject yourself to his pronouncement. That's the meaning.
The judiciary is an independent arm of the government, so it has a stake too. But remember, when the INEC gave the APC the yellow card in Zamfara and Rivers State, we thought it was joking.
Yeah.
Now the scenario is come. The president is telling the same APC,
yes,
don't repeat the mistakes of yesterday.
And that
so
is
it's like a father speaking to a son.
why it is important, the point I made, that
on the eve
whether
of a very important
we
election.
have gotten it right or not in terms of political structure, in terms of how the point still remains that anyhow you have managed to emerge winner, once you have still gotten the majority of votes, what is logical is for those who lost
to embrace the winner.
Or take a walk, get out of the party instead of causing rancor within that same party.
Adekunle, are you surprised that Nigerian politicians are very poor and bad losers?
They are, because many things help them to be.
To be what?
Bad losers.
Okay.
The party, my party, our party, all of us, you come and buy nomination forms. You will see how much. First of all, expression of interest form, nomination form, all those things that we will do. If you see, just take a small interest in politics and see what is happening there. You'll be ashamed. The day you declare that we want to be a councillor, see how many people will be coming to your house to eat in the morning, in the afternoon, in everything. So the money you must have lost up to the point of collecting nomination forms. Then, when they now do that, the same party will not create a level playing field for all of them. It is the same party that will now be setting up panel. They will now be saying they screen some people out. They will not return their money. So many of these things too, we need to bring more sanity, sincerity into our system.
Doctor, they say you can take a man to the National Assembly, but you can't make him think. It is true.
Very true.
That's what he's saying.
Very true. That's why we have poor copies.
Yeah.
We have poor products at virtually every
Including
level.
Some of our colleagues who had been there.
You see some people in their 4-year stay in the National Assembly, there is no significant contribution
At all.
Not once. Some of them, they go to sleep once they get in there.
And when you talk that one, he be like say they hit me. I remember some senators from my state.
Well, I don't know your state. I don't know your state.
I tell you.
No, don't tell me. I don't know your state. So what we are calling for is...
So you won't know the senators I'm talking about?
No, so that we don't...
okay,
that's important, but we want to off the mic on that one. The point is this. The system... I mean, the people can only get the kind of leadership that they deserve.
Oh, yeah.
We have decided to sell our birthright.
Do you know that statement I still am interrogating?
Yes, sir.
If people deserve the government they have.
They have, yes, because...
So we deserve the government we have.
That's what you throw out. For instance now,
why are we complaining?
We have come to a situation, a realization, where we know that every government at the federal level must have at least a minister from each state. Who are those that we are putting out? Who are those that are chosen? That's how we keep getting all of these people. People who get into government, make money. After making money, they go back to become governors. They go back to become this. They hold the system. So who are those that we are throwing out? Who are those? So we get the kind of government that we want.
I get surprised when I hear that governors are more powerful than even the president in our present setting.
Of course.
Good. If they are that powerful, how come we're still where we are?
Well, they are powerful in terms of always wanting to have their ways, not in the service to the people. So we need to distinguish.
Okay.
We talked about some states in the southeast where this keep happening, and you have governors from there, ordinary meaningless meetings. They will go to London, go to Accra,
Those
go to
meetings
France.
are not ordinary.
If those meetings are for the people, why can't you hold it in the government house, anywhere in the state?
How many governors in the Second Republic went to London to hold meetings?
To France to hold meetings.
Use
public fund for frivolities.
Google.
You can Google.
No,
okay.
using public fund for frivolities. You get my point?
It is because
now, when you say they are powerful in terms of defending their own selfish interests.
Okay.
What they don't want, they will insist.
Adekunle and Dotun, but I know that the 1999 Constitution, as amended, gives you the power to recall them.
Well, it's a cumbersome process. And the first thing, recall your representatives in the National Assembly. You can recall your representatives in the National, but even that, how many people have we recalled successfully? Very cumbersome. But it is also good that it is cumbersome, so that we don't turn it into frivolity. The point is this: from the onset, is where we should watch those who are going to represent us. But like he said, a man decides he wants to become chairman, and the following day, you have 100 people at 5, 6 a.m. already waiting by his gate.
They are calling him Excellency.
Already. They are calling him Excellency.
Before the first ballot.
No. Even before the primaries. Even before
like a year even before.
You are already hearing.
Tell them your intention.
You are already hearing. Awaiting. Incoming.
So we are also part of the problem.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. I did an analysis with my wife, and I said, "See, come. If I come home, let's say I'm a very biased journalist, and I tell you I've gone out to talk to maybe governorship or presidential aspirants, and one gives me 20,000 naira, I accept. I go to another one who gives me 50,000 naira, I accept. And then I go to another one who gives me 100,000 naira, and I accept. If I come back home and do this analysis for you, who will you say I should support? If I want to be biased.
The 100,000.
That's the way we are in Nigeria. We already made up our mind that money.
But do you know that scenario you are painting is true to life? And which is why we say some of our colleagues are a part of the problem.
Every Nigerian, or virtually every Nigerian is a part of that problem.
I disagree because it is all of us.
Okay.
Even in the academia, in all professions, we are all involved. Let me tell you, on election day, we just monitored the election in Australia in July, if I remember very well. They were collecting money left and right from virtually, all of them. So you will see people collecting money from the APC, people collecting money from the PDP, and you now wonder, what is the problem? So at the end of the day, most times, our winners can better be referred as the highest bidders. So in the primaries, we need to start from there. So when we blame the losers, if you lose fairly, I was watching the Adamawa thing, is it yesterday or day before yesterday, when Nuhu Ribadu, went to court, and I think at the appeal court, he lost again, and he said, okay, he want to go to the Supreme Court. Believe me, at his level, would you expect a Nuhu Ribadu going to court because of frivolities? He must have seen certain things.
Yeah.
Maybe he knew that he didn't lose fairly.
Yeah.
So when we say, when you lose, embrace the winner. If I lose fairly, I will go home.
The system
I will go in peace. If I don't lose fairly,
so the system needs to reinvent itself.
Complete reform.
Yeah.
And not a question of the constitution or law.
Yeah.
It's each person individually must make up his or her mind to do what is right.
Do you know most people in this country don't love the country? Most Nigerians don't love the country.
Don't say most. I disagree with you. Say many.
Okay.
Most Nigerians love their country.
Okay.
We don't have another one. Don't say most Nigerians.
Make I use many. I use many.
If that many, I just grant you. Maybe
okay,
some Nigerians.
No vex.
Most Nigerians love this country. The problem,
many Nigerians don't love this country. Otherwise, we won't be here.
Yes.
In 2022. In 1994, I always say it, in April 1994, Rwanda committed suicide. But between 94 and today, they have picked up the pieces of their life.
Yeah.
and they're modern now.
They are now a reference point.
In Africa.
So we, I don't know. I don't know. All right, we'll go on a break now. When we come back, we begin to talk football. And do you blame us? Football, you are supporting who to win?
France.
Adekule, no choice.
Morocco.
Here we go again. All right, we'll take this break. Please don't go away.
Every major news story is with many perspective and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
Our only lesson in today's special dedication service shall be found in 2 Kings chapter 6 verse 24 and 2 Kings chapter 7 verse 2. I read, "And it came to pass after this that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his host and went up and besieged Samaria." Chapter 7, verse 2. "Then a Lord, on whose hand the king leaned, answering the man of God, and said, Behold, if the Lord would make windows in heaven, might this be? And he said, Behold, thou shalt see it with thy eyes, but shalt not eat thereof. These are the words of God."
Apostles' Creed, please.